Hey yogis, welcome to my channel. My name is Kassandra, and today I'm going to take you through a stretching sequence using the FeetUp inversion table. So, most people think of this inversion as something to, of course, help you get into like supported headstands and maybe to strengthen your core. And it absolutely can be used that way. I have classes here on YouTube that show you how to use the prop in this way. But I also really like it to stretch. There are some really fun, unique ways that we can use this prop. So to get started, you'll want to place it at the top of your mat with the cushion facing away from you. And we're just going to get into a downward facing dog. So gripping towards the sides of the table on the wooden edges and lifting your hips up and back. So this stretching sequence is how I've been using the prop the majority of the time. Of course, I also use it for headstands and some little core drills, but I really like it just to stretch. It works really well. So from this down dog, step your right foot forward in between your palms and in between kind of to the center of that table. Let your back knee come down towards the floor. And from here, you can kind of rest your forearms over towards the pads as you fold on in. So 3 to 5 breaths in this deep lunge, melting your hips forward and down, letting gravity do the work for you here. And you can start to push into your front heel to straighten that leg, walking the hands back. And folding down into your hamstring stretch. Again, maybe keeping the forearms on the prop. I find that to be the most comfortable. Let's bend into that front knee. Back into your lunge. You're going to bring your left palm and forearm across this prop so it's supported. Bend into this back knee and catch a hold of your foot with your right hand. And I like using the prop for this quad stretch because you're prevented from letting your front knee flop over to the sides. You can just let your calf rest into the table as you draw that heel in while keeping your hips pressing forward and down. So squeeze it in a little more and carefully release that back foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Just pressing into the hips, pressing into your heels. And second side, bring your left foot forward to the center. Back knee comes down to the mat. And let yourself fold belly over your thigh or kind of to the inside of that leg. And you can soften on down. Big opening into the front of your right hip flexors. A little bit into the inner thighs. Try to soften your belly, even your neck and your head. And push into that heel. Half splits as you straighten that front leg and maybe grab the back of the table as you fold on in. Make sure you're never holding your breath, even if a pose feels intense. If you can't breathe, you know you've gone too far into it. We'll come into our quad stretch. So bend once more into that front knee. Bring your right forearm across the table so it's supported. Bend into your back knee and reach back as you pull your heel in towards the glute. A little twist here through your upper body and upper back. Carefully let it go. Back to your downward facing dog. And from your down dog, walk your feet forward. And you might bring your table in a couple inches closer, come all the way up. And we're just going to bring our right foot the heel onto that prop, hinge forward at the waist as you fold on down. So just a different way of getting into the hamstrings. And now some of you will stay here. You can go further into this, almost doing like a splits pose by walking that back heel further back and maybe reaching that front leg further out. So keeping the toes curled under and just letting your hips come down to the floor. This is a really awesome way to work on your splits. Splits has always been one of my weaknesses. My hamstrings and my shoulders are tightest areas that I have, but this has been very, very helpful for me. So just 3 breaths here, reaching out nice and long. And you'll need to push into your hands if you were in your splits pose to drag it back. And you can step back down dog just to stretch. And we'll go to the other side. So start by just placing your left heel over on the cushion before folding forward. And there's already a lot of sensation here, so don't feel like you have to go further. But if you did want to go into that splits pose, you can wiggle the back foot back and maybe wiggle that front leg a little bit further forward as you press your hips down. So you get to control the depth of your splits pose with this prop, which is nice. And we'll come back in, downward dog, and set your knees down to the floor. Let's come into our puppy stretch. I'll show you 2 different ways that you can do it. Some people prefer to keep their arms straight, just kind of gripping onto the back of the table, melting the heart and the chest down towards the floor. This can work beautifully. I prefer to do it with bent elbows, pressing my palms together, and then reaching the thumbs towards the back of the neck. And just let yourself sink in here. Three more deep belly breaths. If you were in the bent elbow variation like me, straighten your arms first, and we'll all start to curl and lift back up. So from here, keep your table further away from you and come to sit. You're going to straighten your right leg and bring the sole of your right foot to rest against the right corner of your table there, with your left foot to the inside of the thigh. So coming into forward folds, I really like to do forward folds with this prop because it forces you to keep your foot flexed, which helps to get deeper into the ankle and into the calves. So as you inhale, lift and lengthen, and on the exhale, you can fold and maybe even hold on to the sides of the prop to help get you a little bit deeper into it. And you really don't need to keep this active if you prefer to just make it passive and let yourself round down. Just whatever feels the best for you here. Think of lengthening and reaching your heart forward towards the front of your mat. And all the way back up, and we'll switch sides. Let your left foot rest against the prop. Bring the sole of your right foot in. Find some length in your spine before you fold. And you can always bend a little bit into your knees as well. So for me, left leg is a lot tighter than the right one. So I'm holding further up. Keeping more length through the sides of your waist. Come all the way back out. Our last fold here, you're going to straighten both legs and rest your feet again against that bar before folding down. And I'm making this more of a yin yoga style fold, so I'm not worrying about having a straight spine. Instead, I'm letting myself soften and relax. But this means I'm not going to grip and hold onto anything. I'm just going to turn my palms to face up and let myself naturally round. But again, the main reason I'm using this prop for the forward folds is to keep my feet flexed and pointing up. Three more deep breaths. And use the strength of your hands to roll back up inch by inch. All right, so just turn the prop around so that you now have your cushions facing towards you. And we're gonna do some variations of supported fish. One of the best ways I found to really open up through my upper back and my shoulders, which as I've mentioned is kind of some problem areas that I have. So instead of aligning yourself to the middle of the prop, I want you to go more so that your left shoulder is in line with the left side of this table. So letting yourself fall down here on this edge. And you can keep your feet flat on the floor. You're gonna reach back with your arm and see if you can grab a hold of the side of the table and let your head rest on the pillow. And the closer you bring your hips in towards the table, the deeper this is going to be. And the further you crawl your fingers down the table, also the deeper this is going to be. You can kind of do whatever feels good with your legs here. So focusing mainly on this left shoulder, let the right arm relax. And let go of the hold of the table with your left palm. And you can use your hand to lift the chin back towards your chest. And we'll go to the other side. So arrange yourself so that you're more against the right side of the prop. And as you lean back, you can reach back with your right hand, see what you can grab a hold of, and let your head rest on the mat underneath you. This is also why I like going side to side instead of straight back. It's nice to be able to rest our head on something rather than having it go down into the hole, which can be pretty tough on necks, at least on mine. So remember, you can intensify this by bringing your hips even closer towards the table behind you. And let's release. Come all the way back to center. And now this time we'll do the more traditional variation of supported fish so that your spine is aligned towards the center of the prop. And I like to, for this one, to kind of like rest the table directly against my tailbone and then leaning it back. So whichever arm variation works the best for you. You can also take a butterfly shape with your legs, feet together, knees apart. I like to support the back of my head with my hands and releasing down. Some people really like reaching their arms up and letting the head dangle. It just doesn't really work for me. And tuck your chin to your chest. Lift back up And just bring your feet flat to the floor. Take a little twist. Left arm across your right thigh. Open up to the side. And go to the other side. Right arm across your left leg. And we'll lower all the way down. And let's lower all the way down. It might feel good just to pull your knees into your belly. Maybe taking a little happy baby pose, holding onto the feet, pressing the knees open wide. And make sure that you can grab the sides of your prop so that your hips are right up against it. Before we come into Shavasana, you're just going to shrug your shoulders down and away from your ears. You can walk your heels in and start to lift your hips up off the floor in that supported bridge pose. Just opening up through your chest, pulling against that table, and release all the way down. And extend your legs, Shavasana, final resting pose, however it feels comfortable to you. Let go of the need to work or to use effort. And just let yourself relax. And deepen your breath, waking back up. You might roll to one side, push your hands into the floor to lift. And bring your hands together at the front of your heart. And we'll close with a cleansing breath, inhaling through your nose, exhaling out the mouth with a sigh. Namaste. Thank you so much, yogis, for doing this stretchy inversion table practice with me. I hope you liked it. If you're looking for more classes that use this prop, I have some on my channel. I will link them down below in the description box. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought, what else you would like to see on my channel, and do subscribe. Just click on that red subscribe button that you see. It goes a long way to support free yoga on the internet, which I think we can all agree is a wonderful thing to have. Thank you all so much. Namaste.